Hello children, hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to do the second lesson of Unit 8, Down the Rabbit Hole by Lewis Carroll. Now take your English comprehension book and turn to page number 48. This is a chapter taken from Alice in Wonderland. The objective of the story: how settings create atmosphere. Okay children, before starting the lesson, let me give you a little detail about the author of the book. His name is Lewis Carroll, but his real name was Charles Lutwidge Dodgson. He was better known by his pen name Lewis Carroll. He was an English writer of children's fiction, notably Alice's Adventure in Wonderland and its sequel, Through the Looking Glass. He was noted for his facility at wordplay, logic, and fantasy. Let's begin. Down the Rabbit Hole. Alice had been sitting by the river reading her book. Suddenly she saw something very strange. A white rabbit ran by saying, oh dear, I shall be too late." Alice jumped up and followed the white rabbit and found herself falling down a rabbit hole. Down, 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 until she landed on a heap of sticks and dry leaves. Here you can see how Alice is falling down the rabbit hole. Now in the second paragraph it says, how did the rabbit hole look like? It was all dark overhead. There was another long passage. There was a long low hall. A row of lamps were hanging from the roof, and there were doors all around the hall. As she saw so many doors all around the hall, she tried to open each and every one. But she could not open any door at all. Then she felt so sad. She walked sadly down the middle, wondering how she was ever going to get out again. Then what she sees next? A little three-legged table, all made of solid glass, and there was a tiny golden key on it. What she does next after she saw this tiny golden key? She tries to open the doors in hallway, but either the locks were too large or the key was too small. On the second time around, she came upon a low curtain and found a little door about 15 inches high. She tries the key in the lock and it fitted. She felt so happy. She opened the door and found that it led into a small passage. It was not much larger than a rat hole. Along the passage was the loveliest garden she ever saw. The lovely garden she saw through the window had beds of bright flowers and cool fountains. But she couldn't even get her head through the doorway. And even if my head would go through, thought poor Alice, it would be of very little use without my shoulders. Oh, how I wish I could shut up like a telescope. I think I could, if only I knew how to begin. For you see, so many out of the way things had happened lately that Alice had began to think that very few things indeed were really impossible. Now that is the first chapter of Alice in Wonderland, an amazing book written by Lewis Carroll. And in this chapter we have found two difficult words. First one, heap. The meaning is a lot. The next word is wander. This means walk leisurely. Now you know that we have another word called wander, but the spellings are different. It has W-O-N-D-E-R, wander. But this is another word, but the sound is the same, but the meaning and the spellings are different. Say that word again with me. Wander. The meaning is walk leisurely. Okay, let's move to the activities in page number 49. The first part is understanding the text. Let's read the first question. What was the first unusual thing that had happened? Now, how did the story begin? Alice was reading a book by the river, and for the first time she is seeing something unusual. She saw a white rabbit which was talking and running. That was the first unusual thing that had happened. Let's read the second question. What did Alice do? What did she do after she saw the rabbit? She jumped up and followed the rabbit. Good job. Let's read the third question. Where did she find herself? After she followed the rabbit, what happened to her? She fell down to a rabbit hole. So where was she? She found herself falling down a rabbit hole. Fourth question. What was on the table? She saw a tiny golden key. Last question. Which door could Alice open? She tried to open many doors, but only one little door about 15 inches high behind a low curtain she found she could open. Okay, let's move to looking at language. Now there you need to explain what these phrases mean as they are used in the story. Let's read the first one. Not a moment to be lost. The meaning is something happens when it is too late. Second one, like the wind. That means very fast. Third one, at any rate. That means whatever happens. Last one, out of the way things, which means not convenient. Okay, let's move to looking at language. Now there you need to explain what these phrases mean as they are used in the story. Let's read the first one. Not a moment to be lost. The meaning is something happens when it is too late. Second one, like the wind. That means very fast. Third one, at any rate. That means whatever happens. Last one, out of the way things, which means not convenient. Let's move to exploring the story. Let's read the 8th question. What are the 4 settings in this extract? Now, before telling you the answer, let me remind you about settings. In the first lesson of this unit also, I have given you a description of what a setting is. I have told you setting means a place which takes part in the story. Now, as you remember, the first lesson of this unit we did Into the Forest. There we read about a huge dark forest. Now, in this lesson, we have got 4 settings. What are the 4 settings? Rabbit hole, then she sees a long passage, then she sees a low hall, and finally she sees a garden. So in this extract there are 4 settings. Ninth question. How do you think Alice felt when she saw a white rabbit? What do you think her feelings were when she saw a white rabbit who was running and who was talking? She might have felt so exciting. Next one. When she could not open any of the doors, when she got lost inside the rabbit hole, she saw so many doors for her to get out of the way, and she tried to open the doors, but none of the doors opened. How do you think she felt? She might have got scared and sad. Right, next one. When she found the key, finally she finds the key on the table. What do you think she felt? She might have been so happy, or in other words, we can say delighted. Last one. When the key would not fit any of the doors, she found the key. She tried to open the doors with that key, but none of the doors opened again. Then how do you think she felt? She might have felt so sad at that moment. Let's move to the 10th question. How do you know Alice was really pleased when the key fitted the small door? How do you know she was so happy when the key fitted that small door? Because in the story it says, to her great delight it fitted, which means to her happiness the key fitted the door. That should be the answer. 11th question. What did Alice see through the small door? When she finally opened the door, what did she see? She saw a lovely garden with beds of bright flowers and cool fountains. Next question. Alice wanted to get smaller so she could fit through the small door. What did she want to do? She saw this lovely garden, but the door was very small. But she wanted to go into the garden. But could she go? No, because she was big, but the door was small. So what did she want to do? She wished if she could shut up like a telescope. Last question. What kind of person do you think Alice is? I think she was a brave girl who was not scared to visit a strange place. What is your answer? You can think and write the answer. Okay, children. We have come to the end of our second lesson of third midterm. I hope you all have enjoyed and that you understood the lesson and that you will be completing all the activities. I will meet you soon with another presentation. Until that, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.